So hello everyone, this is Arman Gupta. So we are again here with the next video in this series of C++. In the first video, we studied about the basic data types, the variables, and lots of things like declaration of variables, initialization of variables, and some other things as well. So the next basic thing that you need to know in C++ is operators. Like again, operators is something that is common to most of the languages, but there are some C++ specific operators that you need to study. Fine. Let's start with some basic questions. What is an operator? What is an operator? Let's go in some basic mathematics. Let's suppose we take a variable x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 4. So in basic mathematics, let's suppose we do x plus y and we'll get as 7. So what do we call this plus as? In mathematics, we call it as operator. We call it as addition operator. Same way in computers as well, these operators exist to perform some computation on the two variables or multiple variables that is being given to them. Like multiple variables operators can also exist. In mathematics, we generally have only two variable operators, like the operator will operate only on two variables, but multiple variable operators also exist in computers. Fine. The first type of operators that we are going to study is arithmetic operators. As the name suggests, arithmetic operators means that does basic arithmetic like plus, minus, multiply, divide. So the first operator is plus, minus, this multiply. This is like the multiply is denoted by a star. Multiply. This is divide and this is modulo. Fine. Plus is something that you already know, minus is something that you already know, multiplication is something that you already know, divide is something that you know already, but there is a kind of twist herein. Let's see. In basic mathematics, what you do is that 10 divided 3 is equal to 3.333, something like that. But in computers, 10 divided 3 will be actually equal to, you just need to normally divide 10 by 3 and then just take the greatest integer. Just take the greatest integer. That means the greatest integer of 3.33 that was produced from 10 divided by 3 equals 3. Basically, the greatest integer of 10 divided 3, that means 3.33 is 3. So 10 divided 3 becomes equal to 3. So this is what divide means in a programming language. Okay, let's see some more examples. 12 divided by 5. Let's see 12 divided by 5. This will give answer as 2.4, which will turn out to be 2. Similarly, 13 divided by 6 will give answer 2.16, greatest integer of which when taken gives 2. Similarly, 20 divided 9 gives 2.22, greatest integer of which taken gives 2. This is how divide operator works. Okay. The next operator is modulo operator. So what does modulo operator do? It just gives the remainder of the division. It just gives the remainder of the division. Like 10 modulo 3. Like when you divide 10 by 3, you just go to 3 3s are 9. Maximum can be 9, right? Maximum can be 9. What is remaining? 1 is remaining. So this is the result of the modulo operator. Similarly, let's see some more examples. 12 modulo 5. 5 2s are 10. 2 is remaining. 2 is the answer. 13 modulo 6. 6 2s are 12. 1 is remaining. 1 is the answer. 20 modulo 9. 9 2s are 18. 2 is remaining. 2 is the answer. 23 modulo 9. 9 2s are 18. 5 is remaining. 5 is the answer. Okay. So these two operators are kind of special, different from mathematics. So you need to just focus on them. And these three operators are just normal operators. Okay. Moving on to next category, assignment operator. As the name suggests, it will assign a value to a variable. It will assign a value to a variable. Fine. So how is it going to work? Let's see. We studied about the declaration of variable. Let's see. This is one of the declarations that we did. Int a is equal to 5. So basically what this equal sign is doing here, this is assigning the value of 5 to this variable. This is assigning the value of 5 to this variable. So this is called as an assignment operator. This is called as an assignment operator. assigning 5 to variable a. So this is called an assignment operator. This is what assignment operator do. Like different kinds of assignment operators exist. Equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, multiply equal to, divide equal to, modulo equal to. Like you know about what equal to does. Plus equal to, like all these are of similar kind. You just need to know at least one of them, and then you will be able to know how all of them are. Right. Let's understand with plus equal to. Let's suppose a is equal to 5, and my task is to increase the value of a by magnitude 2. That means I need to make a as 7. Right. I need to make as a as 7 from 5 to 7. I need to increment it by 2. Like what are the possible options that I will have? Let's do something. I wrote here int a is equal to 5. In the next line, I just wrote a is equal to 7. My work is done. I changed from 5 to 7. Simple. Otherwise, what I would do, I would write something like that. A is equal to a plus 2. That means a is equal to a plus 2. What is the value of a? This is 5. So this becomes a is equal to 5 plus 2. This becomes a is equal to 5 plus 2, which changes to 7. So 5 gets incremented from 5 to 7. A gets incremented from 5 to 7 in these two possible ways. So this is a normal way, like anyone would do it. This is some classic way. Not everyone would do it. Okay. So this is just represented in this form. Like try and understand. A is equal to a plus 2 can also be written as a plus equal to 2. A plus equal to 2. So how to change it actually? How to change it actually? Let's suppose you have something like that. A is equal to a plus 2. What you need to do is that just remove this a. Okay. Swap these two. What it changes to a plus equal to. This is how this is going to work. Like this will work only when these two variables are same. A and a are same. Only when a and a are same. Similarly, a minus equal to 2. What will it mean? What will it mean? A is equal to a minus 2. Okay. What I'll do is that I'll remove this a and I'll swap them. What will it change? A minus equal to 2. This is how it is working. Similarly, a multiply equal to 2, divide equal to 2, modulo equal to 2. You already know how divide works, how modulo works, and this is just an extension of them. Like a modulo equal to 2. A was 5, right? A was 5, right? So a becomes a modulo 2. That means 5 modulo 2, and 5 modulo 2 is what? 1. This is the answer that is being written. Fine. This is how this assignment operator works. This is how this assignment operator works. Like equal to is the primitive one, and these are all the operators that we created for our use. Fine. Moving on to next kind of operators, that are relational operators. As the name suggests, they will give some relation between the variables. That means they are also known as comparison operators. Okay. So what do comparison operators do? They'll just compare. They will just compare. Okay. In normal mathematics, let's suppose we write something like that. 5 greater than 2. What will be our answer? Okay, this is true. 5 greater than 6. No, this is false. Same way we are going to do in computers. Like first we will study what are different kinds of relational operators. Greater than, less than, greater equal to, less equal to. This is called not equal to. This is called not equal, and this is called double equal, or simply equal. Okay, let's understand them one by one. Like this is quite easy. This is quite easy, you know, in basic mathematics. Let's see this one. This also you know in basic mathematics. Still I'll explain. 5 greater than or equal to 2. That means 5 should be either greater than 2 or equal than 2. Both of the cases need not be true. Just one of the cases may be true. Like in this case, 5 is greater than 2. This operator is working, right? 5 is greater than 2. Need not be equal than 2. The answer becomes true. Let's suppose 5 greater equal 5. 5 is not greater than 5, but 5 is equal to 5. This evaluates to true. Simple. This is how it is working. 5 greater than or equal to 6. That means 5 greater than 6. No. 5 equal to 6. No. Answer becomes false. Simple. So for the answer to be true, at least one of the variables must evaluate to true. That means either it should be greater than or equal to, or it should be less than or equal to. Fine. This is how it works. Next operator, not equal to. Next operator is not equal. That means it will just tell you whether it is not equal to or not. Like 5 not equal to 5. This is quite cumbersome. Please listen carefully. Please try and understand carefully. 5 not equal to 5. In basic English, how will you write it as? 5 is not equal to 5. Like this symbol, exclamatory, and then equal to, this means not equal. Simple. So this is stating 5 is not equal to 5. Is this statement true? 5 is not equal to 5. No, 5 is equal to 5. So this statement is false. So basically this will evaluate to false. Simple. 5 not equal to 4. 5 is not equal to 4. This statement is true. Simple. This statement is true. So this expression evaluates to true. This is how not equal to. And simply double equal to, that means it will just compare. Is 5 equal to 5? Yes. True is the output. Is 5 equal to 4? No. False is the output. Simple, that's it. So with this we finish relational operators. Moving on to logical operators. Okay. The first logical operator is AND. Like this is drawn this way, two ANDs. Like in English we write AND like this, right? So two ANDs. This is AND. Next one is OR. OR means these two slashes, like straight slashes, something like that. Two parallel slashes, that's it. And this is NOT. NOT means an exclamatory mark. Okay, I'll explain the one by one. Beginning with the first one, AND. What does AND do? AND will actually need two variables actually. Let's suppose it will actually need two conditions. Let's suppose we have a condition 1 and we have a condition 2, right? Let's suppose like condition 1 can be true or false, condition 2 can be true or false. So in total we'll have 4 cases. If condition 1 is false and condition 2 is false. If condition 1 is true but condition 2 is false. If condition 1 is false and condition 2 is true. And the last case, if condition 1 is also true and condition 2 is also true. So this is how you can make up 4 cases, right? So what does AND mean actually in English language? Like we say, like two people, let's suppose A and B are going to play. This means that both A and B will go to play. It does not mean that either A may go, B may not go, or B may go, A may not go. Does not mean that. A and B means A will also go to play and B will also go to play. Similarly, with this AND, if both the conditions are true, both the conditions are 1, then only the output comes out to be 1. Then only the output comes out to be 1. If any one of the condition is false, like in this case, the second condition is true, but the first condition is false, so the output becomes false. Similarly, in this case, the first condition is true, but the second condition is false, the output becomes false. In this case, obviously, both the conditions are false, the output becomes false. This is how AND works. So, like summing it up, AND operator will produce a result 1 only when both the condition evaluate to 1. If any one of the condition evaluates to 0, the result will be 0 with AND operator. This is what AND operator means. Like I'll tell you by examples what these conditions actually mean later on. Fine. Moving on to next operator, OR operator. OR operator. Okay. Similarly, OR operator also needs two conditions, condition 1, condition 2, the 4 possible cases. Summing up the OR operator will evaluate to false. The OR operator will evaluate to false only when both the conditions becomes false. That means even if one of the conditions is true, the result will be true. Even if one of the condition is true, the result will be true. Even if one of the condition is true, the result will be true. Quite easy to understand. Like the trick I used to remember how this is gonna work is that like this is the OR operator, right? I'll relate it something to true. So for OR operator, what I'll try to remember is that true will be predominant, like true will be the dominating factor, right? Let's suppose in this case we get just one true, like we get a true, right? So true will be the dominating factor, we'll get one. Similarly in this case we get a true, that means true will be the output. For this we have both trues, we get true is the answer. For this case we do not have a true, that means obviously 0 will be the answer. Like true is not there, why it will dominate then, right? So I'll just try and remember or with true, and I'll apply opposite to and. I'll apply opposite to and. Like for or, true is dominating. For and, false becomes dominating. For and, false becomes dominating. Like for this, let's see, 1 and 1, none of them is false. False is not there, why will it dominate? It will just become 1. 0 and 1, false is present, it will dominate 0. 1 and 0, false is present, it will dominate 0. 0 and 0, both of them are false, false is present, it will dominate. This is how I try and remember. Like you can create your own tricks as well, but I try to remember because this is quite confusing between and or. So I try to remember this. Okay, fine. Like other kinds of other logical operators are also existing, but as of now I'm teaching you only this much. Rest operators will be taught once we move ahead in the course. Like when I'll see some practical application of it, I'll teach you that. Fine. Until then you need to at least learn all of them, how to use them. Okay, then we come into not operator. Third operator. Not operator actually means reversing something, right? Reversing something. Let's suppose bool a is equal to 1. Bool a is equal to 1 actually means yes, right? Because this is a bool variable. Bool means yes or no. Okay, a means actually yes. So if anyhow I do a is equal to not a, not a means, so what will not actually do? What will this exclamatory actually do? It will reverse the nature of the variable. Like if a is pointing to yes, if a is pointing to yes, it will start pointing to no. So after this particular statement, a will start pointing to no, and no is equivalent to 0. Simple. Let's suppose bool a is equal to 10. This is yes, right? Yes. After applying this exclamatory mark, not a, after applying this exclamatory mark, not a, this will start pointing to no, because it was yes initially. Exclamatory mark will just reverse the nature, it will transform yes into no. No actually means 0, so a will start pointing to 0. So this is what exclamatory operator or not operator meant. Okay, now I'll show you some applications of and or operator, right? Let's let's write some example. 5 and 0. For this example, let's see, this is condition 1. 5 means, like in Boolean language, you just know that in Boolean language anything except integer 0 will evaluate to it. So this is actually yes, that means 1. This is 0, this is actually no, that means 0. If we have a 1 and a 0, this is and I know that false will dominate. If false comes, then it will be the answer. We get a false, answer becomes 0. Simple. I write something like that, 5 or 0. This is a 1, this is a 0, this is an or, and I know that in or, finding some relation, I got that true is dominating. True is dominating. If true comes, if 1 comes, it would be the answer, right? Here I get a 1, so the answer becomes 1. This is how and or operator works. You already know how this not operator works. Fine, you're done with logical operator. Moving on to the last category, other operators, miscellaneous operators. The first one being conditional operator. Conditional operators is written something like that, right? A question mark and then a question mark and then a colon. So this is how a conditional operator is written. What does it actually mean? How will we perform it, right? Let's suppose I declare a variable int a is equal to 5. Fine. Then I'll write this statement. Okay. Let's see. I'll write a condition here. I'll write a condition a double equal to 5. This is the condition, right? This will, since this is double equal to, it will give us the answer, right? Like whether a double equal to 5 is true or a double equal to 5 is false, right? This is the condition. Then I apply a question mark, and then I write statement 1 here. I put a colon, and then I write statement 2 here. Simple. Semicolon means end of statement. This is how it works. So basically, if I try and write basic syntax, I'll write something like that: condition, question mark, statement 1, colon, statement 2. Just learn that. Just learn that. Remember. Okay. You need to remember this in order to perform conditional operators. Fine. What will actually do? It will just check if a double equal to 5. If a double equal to 5. Is a double equal to 5? Yes. Since a is 5, a is double equal to 5. So if this evaluates to yes, statement 1 gets executed, statement 2 gets ignored. That means if a double equal to 5, what will it do? It will convert a into 1. That means a is equal to 1. So at the end of the statement, what will a point to? A will point to 1. Simple. Simple. Let's go to the next example. Let's do int b double equal to 2. Int b double equal to 2. Okay. I'll write here condition b double equal to 1. No, this is not true. This is 0. This is 0. So if this evaluates to 0 or if this evaluates to a false, statement 2 gets executed. That means statement 1 gets ignored and statement 2 gets executed. That means we directly jump onto the statement 2, b equal to 0. That means the b which was 2 earlier gets decremented to b equal to 0. That means after the end of the statement, b will become equal to 0. Simple. B will become equal to 0. This is how operators work in C++. Fine. The last thing that I will mention in this, that I'll try to teach in this video, is comments. So what do comments actually mean? Comment is a line in a program that does not get executed. Simple. A line in the program that will not be executed. That means it will be ignored by the computer. That means you will just tell to the computer that this is a comment, please do not execute it, and the computer will not execute it. So what is actually a need of a comment? Let's suppose you wrote a project for yourself, right, in C++. Okay, and you are giving a project to some other person to read it, right? Like your thinking of a project, your thinking of how the code is written is different, right? So you might have written a code in some unique way. Okay, you just gave to that person. He or she will not be able to understand how you have written your code. That's so obvious because your style of writing code is very different, very unique. Okay, and he or she is not able to understand. So what you will do is just that. What you will do is just that you will mention some comments in the code everywhere. Comments basically mean the lines that will tell the user that this lines actually means this. That means it will enhance the readability of the code. That means actually the person that whom you are giving that code, he or she will be able to recognize it, that this line means this. Actually, I'll tell you. Let's suppose int a is equal to 5. What does this line actually mean? This is declaration of a variable of type int named a that has value 5. Okay, you know it, right? Because I just taught you. I know it because I taught you. But let's suppose you give this line to a person who has no knowledge of this C++ program. So how will he or she be able to understand what does this line actually mean? So to make him or her understand, what I'll do is that ahead of the semicolon, I'll just make this two slashes, two forward slashes, and write declaration of variable. So after reading this line, that particular person will understand that this line means what. This is just a declaration of a variable. So after introducing these two forward slashes, I indicated to the computer that please do not execute anything that is ahead of these two slashes in the same line. That means if I write something called int b is equal to 10 in the next line, this will execute, right? This will execute, this will be ignored, anything written ahead of it will be ignored, and then this will be executed. So this is how this comment is working. This is how this comment is basically working. We just introduced two forward slashes and we can write anything in front of it. We can write literally anything in front of it, whatever you want, and the computer will pay no attention to what is being written here. Simply after this will just jump to the next line. So this is what we call a single line comment. Because it is limited only to a single line. This is what we call a single line comment, because it is limited only to a single line, right? After this line is over, it goes to the next line and it does not find the comment. That it does not recognize it as a comment. It will recognize it as a normal programming sentence. Fine. So this is just limited to a one line. Let's suppose I wanted to comment this as well, right? I just wanted that just int a is equal to 5 gets executed, and after this nothing gets executed. So what I need is that I need multi-line comment. That means I need a type of comment that comments this and then comments this as well, both of them at the same time. So this is where multi-line comments come. So multi-line comments are something like that. You just write a forward slash and a star. You write anything between them, the computer will not evaluate, and at the end write this forward slash, write this star and this forward slash again. This becomes a multi-line comment. Simple. Let's see an example. Okay, I just wrote int a is equal to 5, int b is equal to 10. Fine. And then I just wrote char c is equal to something like that, a. Okay, something like that. So I just mentioned a multi-line comment from here to here. Fine. So what will actually computer do? Computer will start. Okay, this is not a comment anywhere. Execute this. Okay, this encounters this here. That means it encounters the beginning of a multi-line comment. Fine. This is the beginning of a multi-line comment. So it just encounters the beginning of a multi-line comment. So it will just understand that it is going to encounter a multi-line comment. So unless and until it recognizes this ending of a multi-line comment, it will not execute anything, right? So it starts this line. Okay, this line is not executed. Start this line not executed, and then it sees this ending of a multi-line comment. So it will not execute these two lines. Anyway, it will not execute. It will start executing from the next line then. So let's see. I write something called bool x is equal to 1 here. So what will computer do? It will execute this line, skip this line, because these two are present between multi-line comments. Fine. And then this is containing no comment. It will execute this line. Fine. Simple. Let's make some variations. Let's suppose I write here a multi-line comment. This is a single line comment. Fine. This is a single line comment. So let's see from the point of view of a computer. It gets no indication of a comment here. Executes it. Okay. It comes to this line. Starting of a multi-line comment, will not execute it. Again, the multi-line comment has not ended, not executed. It ends here. Multi-line comment ends here. It goes to this. Since this has no comment until now, it will execute it. Then it will see the single line comment. and it will not execute this. We'll just execute this. We'll just leave this. Fine. Let's make some more variation. Let's make some more variation. Okay. Let's add one more line of code. Suppose something called double y is equal to 1.323456 and 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 I mention a single line comment. Simple. Now, from the point of view of a computer, executes this, skips this, skips this, executes this, skips this, but it comes here. It gets this single line comment indication in front, like ahead of this nothing will be executed. So even if you have written double y is equal to something like that, you will not see a variable, you will not see a variable that has y is equal to this 1.2345. Fine. This is what comments mean. Two types of comments: single line comments, multi line comments. You got to know the utility of the comment. You got to know how operators work, different kinds of operators. Fine. So this was the second basic video of C++ of this series. Okay. In the next video, we'll study how input and output happen on the screen. Like we'll start doing some real time things. Like you'll start seeing something on the screen. More interesting from the next video onwards. And from the next video onwards, we'll start doing all the practical things. We'll start doing coding on the screen. Fine. You will find more interesting then onwards. So until then, have a good day. Revise all these things. Make notes of all these things. Have a good day. Bye bye.